Hi everyone. I haven't recorded anything in about 5 days. So, hope you all had a great July 4th. I sure did. So, let me tell you about my experience. I had gone on 3 dates with this guy, and I noticed something funny about him. Everybody in the room was cool, calm, and collected except him. He was just bathed in sweat. I mean, not just a little bit of sweat, but totally soaking through. And I thought that was odd. And I asked him if he had a medical condition, and he did not. So on that third date, though, he had talked about some inappropriate subjects, which was way out there. I mean, so way out there, it actually boggled my mind, and I'm a pretty open person. You know, I can talk just about any kind of subject except the things he was talking about. So I texted him that night and I said, listen, all the plans that we made to go away, we were going to go away together, just as friends, about a 3-hour drive. I said, cancel them, because I had wanted to stay with a relative at his place, and he insisted that he could not deal with the heat, which I understand because he's always covered in sweat. So I went along with it against my better judgment. I said, okay, because he wanted to get a hotel so he could have the AC. There was no other reason except for him to have the AC. So I said, well, okay, but I just want you to realize that this is a family thing, not a romantic thing. This was to visit my family, which I hardly ever see, but maybe once a year. So I told him to cancel everything. I thought he was totally inappropriate. I said, cancel all the things that we had just planned. And I blocked him on my phone. And so the next night, I see this guy outside of my employment, which really rattled me. How dare him? I mean, that was just not good. So I had to be escorted out to my vehicle because this guy was just really overstepping the boundaries. Now, I have always heard that these nerdy, dorky guys, or these little bit heavier guys, us girls never give them a chance. And that kept going over and over in my mind. And I go, you know what? That's true. That's true. We need to give, when you're in the dating field, you need to give everybody a chance, because you may think you got a toad when you got a prince, you know. So about 5 days later, I happened to unblock his message, and it was so apologetic. He was saying, oh, I'm so sorry. I am not the person you think I am. I am a real gentleman. I swear. I saved this voicemail because I know it would come in handy in the future. But he said, oh, no, I'm not like that. Please forgive me. It will not happen again. So I started having second thoughts. I said, you know what? I'm going to give this guy a second chance because, like I said, these guys that are, you know, not a number 9, they're not a number 10, they're not even a number 6, you know what I'm saying? I said, I'm going to give this guy another chance. So before I packed for the trip, I said to him in writing, in a text, I said, I want your word that you will be a gentleman and that you will not do anything that I want you to. I don't want you to cross my boundaries. And I saved his text, and he said, I promise, I swear, I will respect you 100%, and I want to prove myself to you. Well, when I got there, there was only one bed. So now I am in shock. I'm going, oh my God. I even wanted to go and pay the difference and get my, not paying the difference, but get my own room. It was that kind of a critical situation, because I really didn't look at this guy in a romantic way. Like I said, he wasn't my type at all, but I wanted to give this guy a second chance, because sometimes I feel like I'm too hard on people. I really do, that I have too many quirks. So I didn't want to be that girl. I wanted to always give someone a second chance. And my son just told me last night that I am too nice. And I know I am. And that too niceness is really hurting me in so many ways, because I am taken advantage of. So, the next morning at breakfast, now he has a CPAP machine. I have nothing against a CPAP machine. But I promise you that it's not really one of those turn-ons. You know, I understand it's for medical reasons, but, and you know, we're all getting up there in age, some of us, but just seeing someone laying in the bed with this machine on, it looked like, you know, he was someone from outer space. So the next morning we had breakfast. I noticed he didn't leave a tip. And then he kept saying, well, I'm sleepy. I need to go lay down. And I go, you just woke up. You just woke up. So I went along with him. I went upstairs, laid down with him. And I realized that's not what he had in mind. And I just told him straight up. I said, no, we're not going there, okay? You gave me your word. So, so the next night, I realized he had made some more inappropriate comments. I mean, they're so bad, I can't even put it on YouTube. It's that bad. And I talked to my son about this, and he says, Mom, no guy should ever say those words to you. That's how gross this was. And I just, of course, no means no. And I said, no. You know, because I have to have feelings for a guy, or I have to really know his character. I have to be in love. And I think that's what makes love so special. And so the following night, he really got out of hand. And that's when I realized I was in deep trouble. So the next morning we go to breakfast again, and I noticed he doesn't leave a tip again. And I had just gone through hell the night before. And so I told him, this is the first time in my life I actually told somebody to their face what I thought of them. I said, you are a creep, a real creep. Forget the fact that he sweats profusely, and even after he showered, he had a little bit of an odor still. And I told him that he needed to wear flip-flops, because we were going to be going in and out of the sand and the water. And he took his shoes off with his socks, and his socks were so dirty. They were dark gray, okay? You know, doesn't these guys put Clorox in their whites, or Clorox too? I mean, it was stinky. My whole car was so smelly just from him taking off his shoes. And then he kept having white stuff around his mouth. And I actually said to him, I said, have you been bit by a fox? Are you rabid? I mean, it was like he was foaming at the mouth. I had to keep wiping his slobber and this white stuff off his mouth. Finally, he told me what it was. He was chewing on mints, which left this white residue. Well, I feel this way. If you brush your teeth twice a day and floss, and you have good dental hygiene, you know, why does he have to constantly chew on these mints? I don't know. But let's see, where am I at in this story? Okay, so we're at breakfast again. He doesn't leave a tip. I call him a creep. And I was so proud of myself, because I had sworn to my own self that I would not tolerate any appropriate behavior any more from this guy, because remember, he gave it to me in a voicemail and in writing that it was going to be, you know, pretty much platonic. Well, he got so mad, he ran upstairs. I had never seen the guy run so fast because he was very obese. You know, like I said, I'm going to give these guys who are not a number 8 or a number 9 a chance in the dating world, and I did. Well, I went upstairs, and he has his CPAP machine on. Now it's 9 a.m., and I think he's just huffing and puffing and like he thought he was going to die. And I told him, you know, earlier in like a couple days before that he needed to seek medical attention. I mean, he was that bad. So when he was turned to the wall, I said, you know what? I'm not putting up with it anymore. I picked up my luggage, took it downstairs, got in my car, and I said, I'm leaving this guy. He doesn't deserve me. He doesn't deserve a relationship with any woman. I don't know if a pack of wolves has raised him, but I don't think his parents did a very good job, because I raised my son to respect women 150%. And actually my son says, Mom, if you want, I'm going to start going on dates with you, so to make sure that they are being appropriate. Yeah. So this guy comes running out in his sleepwear, his underwear, or whatever you want to call it. And he goes, what? You're leaving me? And I go, yes, I'm leaving you. He goes, oh my God. I said, yes, I'm leaving you. And I did this on purpose, because he will think twice before he does this to another lady. Not another girl, but another lady. And I'm very embarrassed about this story, but it needs to be told. And I don't know if he took an Uber home. It would have been a 3-hour drive, but guess what? It's not my problem, because these kind of men need to be stopped. And yes, I know I should have never, ever went out of town with this person, but I really believe what people tell me. You can call me naive or gullible, but it was awful. It was just awful. Now, when I left, I did not feel any guilt. This guy deserved that and much more. I don't know if he even had money on his credit card to even rent a car, but it's not my problem. That is something that I had promised myself, never to tolerate any jerks on a date. I always said I would just get up and walk out, and I did. So try not to judge me, okay? Because anybody could be put in this position, you know. Well, most of us. But to you girls or guys who have a special person in your life,